My favorite player was Louis Aparicio, a shortstop known for his defense.
Oh, my goodness, what a play from Aparicio.
During those early years, I learned to love the rhythm of a season and the voices who called it.
What a marvelous moment for baseball. What a marvelous moment for the country and the world.
In 1983, my baseball journey led me to the Northwest, where I set up shop in the Kingdom.
Swinging a drive deep to right field down the line. There it goes. Goodbye, baseball. He did it.
My voice would become synonymous with the Mariners, alongside that of my mentor, Dave Niehaus.
Get out the right bread and the mustard this time, Grandma. It is a grand salami.
He taught me so much. Now, as I celebrate my 41st and final season in the Mariners booth, I think back to those early years in the Windy City, proud of the experience that helped me land in the Emerald City. I've also got some new partners in Aaron Goldsmith and Angie Mentink. They have the call for Seattle and Chicago next on Mariners TV.
Oh, what better way to open up the broadcast tonight than the great Rick Riz in Chicago Zone. That was awesome. Aaron Goldsmith, Angie Mentink. The Mariners start a new series here tonight against the Chicago White Sox. And Colt Emerson plays in his second big league game in the lineup, of course, for the Mariners tonight, Angie.
I was one of the ones that were cheering for him to get up here sooner rather than later. And, okay, on the surface, last night he's 0 for 2. But let's dig just a little bit deeper. His first at-bat, he's 0-2 in a nanosecond. But I love what he did from there. Maybe he didn't get off his A swing in that at-bat, but his A- swing for sure. Then he was patient in his next at-bat, took the walk, and then he hit another fly ball. Again, in that at-bat, he got down 0-2, but from there he battled. And I think that his approach at the plate is really going to translate here at the big league level. He allows the ball to get deep. He makes good swing decisions, and I can't wait for everything that's ahead of this bright and talented star.
One of the very top prospects in baseball with 17 friends and family in the house tonight. A chance for his first big league hit. Well, when you talk about our All-State Good Hands replay, Julio taking a home run away on Saturday.
This doesn't happen by accident. He's been out there. A lot of the outfielders have been out there doing drills, playing with the wall, tracking their steps on that warning track, and then also, doing do-or-die drills, making sure their footwork is correct on coming in hard on ground balls. So the guys have been working behind the scenes to make those great plays happen.
Brian Wu on the mound tonight. We'll talk some starting pitching when we come back.
Michael's Toy.
Mariners TV is brought to you by Emerald Queen Casino. The sound of a generation. Don't miss funk and soul legends war at Emerald Queen Casino, July 17th. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. And by the Washington Traffic Safety Commission. Seatbelts save lives. Remember to always buckle up when you drive. Yeah, tonight's day one of a two-day Josh Naylor bobblehead giveaway inside T-Mobile Park to the first 10,000 fans. Bunch of Washington Toyota dealers pitching matchup. Young Noah Schultz is on the mound. He's had a hard time throwing strikes for the White Sox. He'll be opposed by Brian Wu. And for more on Wu and tonight's pitching matchup, let's send it down to Hyphen on the field. What's going on, Ryan?
Well, Goldie and Angie, I'm telling you, a couple of outings ago, St. Louis Cardinals, Kansas City Royals, they were jumping all over Brian Wu. And there's a little bit of that moment like, hold on a minute, does he have to change his game plan up a little bit? But the one thing with Brian Wu, we know he is very stubborn in the strike zone. He just had to make better pitches. One thing I noticed, his last time out against the Houston Astros, just from a mechanical standpoint, he was staying on that ball a little bit longer. He was staying center mass towards the target. He was able to get those fingers on top of that sweeper and that slider. And then the two-seamer as well has been a factor. It was more of a factor last time out. So watch for him to expand the strike zone. Yes, his team's going to be really aggressive against him, but just staying on target a little bit longer and getting a little bit on top of that sweeper and slider, and then putting guys away with that pitch, as he did against the Houston Astros with 9 strikeouts, guys.
Yeah, more like Brian Wu as of late, his last 2 times out. I'll tell you one guy the White Sox are not happy to see. It's Josh Naylor. 12 home runs for Naylor in his career against the White Sox. By far the most he has against any team he has ever faced. Naylor and the Mariners hosting the White Sox. It's game 1 of 3, and it's coming up on Mariners TV. Mariners TV is brought to you by UW Medicine, the only health system in Washington that directly connects care to a research and learning powerhouse. UW Medicine, a higher degree of health care. And by PIMCO, the insurance you get. Learn more at PIMCO.com. Mariners first baseman Josh Naylor all smiles down there signing some autographs. Prior to first pitch, Josh Naylor bobblehead tonight and tomorrow. It's game 1 of 3 of the Mariners and the Chicago White Sox. Mariners looking for a little revenge against Chicago after dropping 2 out of 3 on the south side recently. Mariners coming off a tough series against the Padres, looking to get the ship turned around here tonight. Here's what the lineup looks like for manager Will Venable and a red-hot White Sox ball club. This is a team that does 2 things exceptionally well. They walk and they hit home runs. In fact, they've hit the second most home runs in all of baseball. Sam Antonacci, rookie second baseman, leading things off. He is one of 7 batters who will bat left-handed in the lineup, including Munetaka Murakami with 17 home runs, batting second. Second time on the field, first time in the home whites for Colt Emerson, Mariners' top prospect, one of the very top prospects in all of baseball, a shortstop by trade, holding down the hot corner these days for the Mariners. He'll be playing behind this man, Brian Wu, as Hyphen was just talking about, 2 really stellar starts that he's coming off of. Back-to-back 6-inning outings, 9 strikeouts both times.
Yeah, 18 strikeouts over his last 2. Like you said, I did the math, Aaron. I'm paying attention. And 0 home runs. That's the guy we know and love. How is he doing it? He is just filling up the strike zone. Only the Yankees' Cam Schlittler throws a higher strike percentage than Brian Wu. Mariners have won 4 of the last 5 games Wu has started. This is what the Chicago White Sox are up against. Of course, the 4-seamer and the 2-seamer. Over 70% of the time, they're going to be seeing that fastball. And then he's just going to yank the string with that sweeper. He's got the slider, and occasionally he will mix in his changeup.
Well, Colt Emerson is making his way, learning umpires' names, learning third base coaches' names as well. Yeah, nice congratulations there by our third base umpire today, Nick Marley, as he meets Colt Emerson for the first time. Mom, dad, and 17 in total friends and family have made their way to Seattle from Ohio. They were just in Tacoma to watch Colt play for the Rainiers. Just flew home and they got on a flight right away and came back to watch their son in the big leagues.
They do not mind at all. Congratulations to him again for yesterday. I'm just so excited to see this guy play day in and day out. And I think that's the idea now that he's here.
Sam Antonacci leads things off. He swings away and fouls it back for strike 1. Antonacci, young second baseman. He's played a lot of outfield as well for Chicago. He's gotten off to a really nice start in his big league career. It's been a rough few years for Chicago, losing 100+ games each of the last 3 seasons, but things have turned around this year for the White Sox. They're 2 games over 500. They have been fueled this month in particular by a blistering hot offense as Antonacci leads things off with a single. In the month of May, Ange, they have been one of the very best lineups in baseball. Top 5 in average on base. Nobody is slugging more, in large part because nobody's hit more home runs this month than the White Sox.
When you look at what they've done since the Mariners last saw them, and they've only got 1 loss, since the Mariners last played them. They're in Chicago. They have been white hot, if you will.
I see it.
Thank you.
A Pale Hose reference. Well, this guy has almost more home runs than anybody. Only Kyle Schwarber has more home runs in baseball than Munetaka Murakami. First year in the major leagues after some sensational seasons in Japan. 17 home runs on the season. He's on a really wild trajectory, one that would have him hitting just over 60 home runs this season, while setting a major league record in strikeouts. He is on pace to strike out more than any player ever has. But when you hit 60 home runs, which we'll see if he does,
yeah,
all of a sudden those strikeouts become a little more palatable.
Well, you'll take the swing and miss when you're able to slug with those sorts of numbers. So it's just really incredible. You think about, how he's getting it done. I mean, he puts the ball in play and he hits it hard. His hard hit rate, nearly 60%. That's on pace to crush the StatCast era record set by Aaron Judge back in his crazy 2017 campaign.
The 2-2. Appeal. He does not go.
Guys, it's crazy too. I mean, the numbers he's put up. Murakami, a lot of teams passed on him and waited to the last day in the posting period from Japan, where it's about to expire, where he has to sign back in the MPB for the White Sox to pull the trigger. The agency tried so tough to get a deal together, and I mean, you think about some of the numbers he's put up. That's kind of a steal. A 2-year deal he signed.
This is a guy that was averaging 35 home runs a year the last 6.
Right, I think too the report on him was, and the concern teams had, I spoke to Ted Hyde, who was
in between second and third, and Tanachi is tagged out at third base. Well, what in the world happened there? Murakami had taken ball 4, and the next thing you know, Antanachi's thrown out at third.
I'm not lying to you. I had my head on the pillow. I'm filling out what exactly happened when Murakami walked. So, I mean, here, if you look at the defense, you've got Cole Emerson, a rookie who's not paying attention. And so he says, I think I can beat you there. But Cole heads up, realizes what's happening, and beats him to third base. Wow.
Very aggressive from Antanachi. Does not work out for him. And the makings of a heads-up play.
I'm going to say, too, look, I mean, I know Cole Emerson made his debut yesterday, but he was way off the lines. We saw that shift. And we've seen this a couple times in Major League Baseball the last couple of years, where guys see the shift and they feel like they can, you know, sneak up and get that bag. But good job right there. Just be heads up to get to that base and make that play. Think about it too. He's making his debut yesterday. His family's in town. A lot going on in his head right now, besides the fact he's trying to be a Major League Baseball player. Having to get that big first out right there and help out Brian Wu.
Set him up the whole way, didn't he?
That's right.
Yeah, I'll look the other way, pretend like I'm not paying attention. They'll think, all right, this rookie's playing in just his second big league game. He's got me. No, you don't. I will say this, and I think that you could echo this, Ryan, is like when you talk to Cole Emerson, you're like, nah, I don't believe you, buddy. You are not 20 years old.
Right.
I mean, it's just incredible, you know, the maturity that he possesses. That woman right there, Stacey, well done. I mean, just a well put together kiddo, between the ears too.
Well, I'll give you one example too. He signed that extension. I got his number, you know, at FanFest, said, I'd like to, you know, stay in touch with you and get a chance, obviously, to, you know, obviously talk to you some more. We know he's going to be here. I actually texted him and said, hey man, I'd love to interview you and talk to you after that extension. He said to me, he said, listen, can we hold off until I get settled in the big leagues? I just want to put my head down and get dialed in before I do anything. I mean, look, man, 9 times out of 10, when you're 20 years old, you sign an extension like that. I mean, you're going to, and you know, fair enough, you're going to celebrate a little bit,
screaming from the rooftops. Right,
I feel like you're a guy. He was like, nope, I want to make sure I get here, do my thing first, get comfortable.
Ball finds a new guy off 1 foot, a low throw on a skip over to Young. Murakami cut down there, 2 outs. Vargas, who's been seeing the ball well, is aboard at first base.
Well, this just folds so well into everything that Perry Hill teaches. Okay, when you are making an out-of-the-box play, he is going away from second base. Use the ground. It's your friend. He throws a one-hop. That's the quickest way to get it over there, instead of trying to float that thing without a lot of it and make it there all the way in the air. Smart play. Again, this kid.
Colson Montgomery batting now. Young shortstop having a nice season. 13 home runs for the White Sox cleanup hitter. Bats with Vargas at first and 2 outs. And Pareda looking down to first base, but holds on to it. Here comes the 1-1 from Wu. Missing high and wide. Wu did not pitch against the White Sox in the previous series between these two teams. His last time on the mound, 2 runs over 6 in Houston.
even though we've talked at great length about how this White Sox team is a very different team, there's some pieces there from the past, and Brian's numbers have been absolutely spectacular against him. In the 4 starts against the White Sox, he has not allowed more than 4 hits in any of those 4 starts, and the Mariners have won every one of them.
It's a swing and a miss to get back in the count 3-2. He's hoping for more of that kind of success today. White Sox do strike out quite a bit. And Montgomery, part of the reason why. Strikeout rate close to 30%. But a lot of power to go along with that swing and miss. That's a real theme for the White Sox this year. 3-2. "20 pitches this first inning for Wu. One of the highest strikeout rates in baseball this year. They do draw their fair share of walks, though. Walks and home runs, something that the White Sox have really hung their hat on this year, especially the homers. Speaking of, there's ball 4.
I was asking about, sort of what is hitting coach Derek Showman's message to this White Sox team? I mean, how are they getting it done? And it begins and it really ends just on getting a good pitch in the strike zone. I mean, that is their focus. And you see how patient they are. Colson Montgomery taking the walk there. But as a team, that's their focus. Seems simple, but it's easy to chase.
There's strike 1 to Benintendi. Well, 2 walks in this first inning from Wu. You don't see that very often at all in an entire game. He's never walked more than 2 batters in a start this year. Ball and 2 strikes on the veteran, Andrew Benintendi. Vargas at second, Montgomery the runner at first base. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Put him away. A breaking ball strikes out Benintendi. 25 pitch first inning for Wu, but he keeps the White Sox off the board. Here's what the lineup looks like today. It's kind of unique with a lefty on the mound in Noah Schultz. J.P. Crawford, left-handed bat, is batting leadoff. Rob Refsnyder, who we have oftentimes seen hit leadoff with a lefty on the mound further down in the order. Also, Rosarena is up to the number 3 spot with Naylor batting cleanup. So Schultz has been tough on lefties this year. Mariners changing things up a little bit, and a unique move having J.P. lead things off. Noah Schultz, rookie lefty, making just his 7th start, and he's had a really hard time throwing strikes. That's been the biggest thing with him so far this year.
21 walks in just over 29 innings of work. That's hard to overcome. Think about being a rookie and trying to make a name for himself. He's got the 4th most walks issued by a White Sox pitcher to start their career. That's not the top 5 you want to be in.
Well, the ground over to first on a short hop. Murakami handles it. 1 away. The White Sox defense courtesy of defender Jared Kelnick, who began the year with AAA Charlotte in the White Sox system, was called up a little bit before the Mariners were on the south side somewhat recently. Still up with the big league club. He's in right field tonight for Chicago. Quickly 1 away. Here is Julio. Mariners are facing a left-handed starter for the first time in 8 games. It has been a rough road this year for the Mariners against left-handed pitching. 29th to 27th in the slash line categories this year, average on base and slug. They're trying to find a way to get those bats more geared up against lefties this season. Naylor batting cleanup today.
He felt like every other day they were facing a lefty, tough lefty too, having put up some good work against the Mariners. Noah Schultz, 6'10", lefty right up there at 96, 97. Got that really good, big sweeping breaking ball.
There is 96 fouled away. Yeah, for Schultz, his last time out, he pitched into the 5th. He went 4 1/3 against Kansas City. He only allowed 2 hits, but he walked 5 batters. He's walked 9 hitters his last 2 starts combined. In fact, he has more walks than innings pitched his last 2 times on the mound. Two and two. When you saw the splits, he's obviously been very good against lefties. He hasn't faced many lefties, but even righties have had a hard time with him. Barely batting over 200. That's outside. Very close pitch.
You can see, I mean, it's just a tough look, right? 6'10", righties, lefties. Again, Angie mentioned the command. You know, one thing with him being so young, they want him to strengthen up that lower half, that right knee injury. I think mechanically too, one thing they wanted to do was just get that front foot down, right? Have that, front foot down and get everything out over the top and get that good extension. It's so tough. 6'10". We talk about this with Logan Gilbert too, right? It's been 6'6". Anyone who's got those long levers, man, it is so tough to time everything, especially too when you're moving at that speed. But that lower half has been that big emphasis for Noah Schultz this year. Yeah, and piggybacking on what Brian's saying, he's 6'10". You think he'd have great extension, but no, 6.3 extension. That's 30 percentile. It's just a bit of a waste, and it all starts with that lower half.
Crack deep, right center field. Julio leads the yard. An opposite field home run. Strike one to Randy. Well, that was an impressive home run.
It really was. It was a great pitch by Schultz. I mean, on the black outside two-seamer, probably right where he wanted it. But when Julio's going well, he's got power to that right center field gap.
His 6th home run this month. Julio off to the best start to his career. On an 0-2. Only the 3rd home run that Schultz has allowed so far this year. Randy had a monster series in Chicago against the White Sox. He has been so consistent all year long.
They're talking about this being a tough look too. I mean, Julio, the fact he get a 3-2 count, first look at Noah Schultz ever.
And he strikes out. A 97-mile-an-hour fastball puts him away. 2 down, back to Julio's home run.
Again, look at the location of this two-seamer. Yeah, it's on the black outside, but he leaves it up in the zone right there for Julio to get a good look at it. And again, you see where he made contact with that. That's right there, even with his front hip. That's connected.
Strike one to Naylor. Broken bat, a little loop, and it drops in for a base hit. Naylor is aboard. His hot hitting continues. A 2-out single.
Big swing by Naylor, but you look at where he hits this off the end of the bat. That's where it's at its weakest, and he breaks the bat. But I love to say it, Guy's a hero. You don't mind losing a bat for a base knock.
Here's Rob Refsnyder. It's been a tough first month and a half for Refsnyder as a Mariner. He has one of the best track records in all of baseball hitting left-handed pitching over the last few years. In the air, out towards right center field. Acuna underneath and makes the catch to retire the side. Julio gets the Mariners on the board. It's an opposite field home run. His 8th of the year. The Mariners take an early 1-0 lead over the White Sox. 1-0 Mariners thanks to Julio, our steel scoreboard. Opening game of the series, Mariners and the White Sox. Jared Kelenic leading things off. .25 pitches in the first for Brian Wu. Had to work around a couple of walks and a base hit, but kept the White Sox off the board. .96 misses inside 1-1 to Kelenic.
It took him a little bit to get settled in. A little bit side to side. He was missing, especially on that breakable too. I feel like you're going to see a little bit more of that pitch. He's throwing it more and more as that game went on against the Houston Astros. There it is. Again, the biggest thing with this is just keeping that center mass going towards the plate. You see a little bit more of that depth on that pitch. It gets below the strike zone.
The 1-2. White Sox are coming off a pretty thrilling series win against their in-city rival, the Cubs. A walk-off win yesterday for Will Venable's club. Taking 2 out of 3 against the Cubs. Fouled right back. Pareda holds on to it. A good fastball from Brian Wu, his second strikeout.
This four-seam fastball is just perfectly located up and in against Kelenic, and it's just so difficult with that location right there to be able to get your barrel to it.
A strikeout for Wu to begin the second. And here's another lefty bat in Tristan Peters. And those walks in the first inning really stand out because of Wu's walk rate, one of the lowest in baseball. This is tagged out to Joe in right field. Backpedaling on his heels to make the catch. That was a rocket. And allowed out number 2.
Just matters that you catch it. But you're right. I mean, that ball was stung off the bat 100 miles per hour. And Brian Wu appreciates it. Again, doesn't matter what it looks like. It just goes in the glove. That's the important part.
Switch hitting catcher Drew Romo. Strike 1. Well, the Cubs, the White Sox mashed a grand total of 10 home runs in those last 3 games against the Cubs. Popped up into short left center field. Crawford is underneath it to make the squeeze, and the side retired in order. Much more efficient, quick 1-2-3, top of the second for Brian Wu. The insurance you get brought to you by Pimco Insurance. These two teams rely on the home run ball more than anyone else. Highest percentage of runs via the home run ball. White Sox over 50%. Mariners are not far behind. Julio has homered tonight. Of course, Murakami with 17 home runs, second most in baseball this year. As Connor Joe looks at a strike.
I always try to put, what other teams are doing in terms I understand, and that's like what Cal Raleigh did last year. I mean, Cal didn't hit his 17th home run where Murakami sits right now until his 50th game. That's the crazy pace that he is on. He's already got there in game 46.
It's been remarkable. And maybe even more surprising, he doesn't lead the majors in home runs after what Schwarber has done over the last week.
Because I was talking about Murakami to that first at bat. One thing with teams being hesitant, it took that last day for him in regards to posting before the White Sox pulled the trigger. But one question was, can he handle plus velocity in the big leagues? That was kind of the thing. It's like, I don't think he's going to be able to handle this, hitters at the top of the strike zone. I was talking to Ted Hyde, who was instrumental in bringing Ichiro Suzuki to the Seattle Mariners, who always gives me the good reports on some of these Japanese players. But a guy like Murakami, look, he had such a good start to his career in Japan. So he went to work in, once he didn't really hear that, but kind of heard the scouting report against him, went to work. I know there's a ton of swing and miss, but man, you mentioned that home run pace. It is impressive.
On pace for over 60 home runs this year. New bat in hand for Connor Joe, behind 0-2. Up and in.
You mentioned, the home runs and what he's on pace for, but you think about his patience, and 130 walks is what he's on pace for as well. It's really impressive.
Count evens on Joe, 2-2. Right-handed bat in the lineup today was Schultz, the lefty, on the mound. Joe swings and misses. Second strikeout for Schultz. Coming up at the end of May, it's 90s weekend at T-Mobile Park, which means the next Mariners Decade Pin giveaway on Sunday, May 31st. First 10,000 fans will take home the pin honoring Junior. This is a good one. They're all great. This is a fun idea the Mariners have this year. It's all thanks to KeyBank. Visit mariners.com/pins to get your tickets. A couple of guys facing off against one another from the first round of the 2022 draft. Schultz was taken 26th overall. That was 5 picks after the Mariners selected Cole Young. Young, one of the youngest everyday position players in the major leagues. Just 22 years old. Into shallow center field, Acuna comes in to make the catch. 2 up and 2 down, and that brings up Colt Emerson. Playing tonight in his second big league game. Looking for his first major league hit. Mom, dad, plenty of friends and family in the house. Chases after that sweeper. Emerson, the Mariners' #1 prospect. #6 overall prospect in baseball to Pipeline. #3 overall with Baseball America. On an 0-1. Doesn't chase this time.
He came up hacking that first at bat yesterday against Lucas Giolito. First pitch he saw in the big leagues. Hit her up in the strike zone, went swinging.
I thought, why not, when I watched that? I thought, why not? You know what I mean? I mean, your first major league at bat, yeah, it was up out of the zone, but go ahead, take a hack.
Right.
2-1 to Emerson. Over the plate.
Tell you what, Noah Schultz talked about that command. If he can land that cutter right there in the strike zone, it's going to be tough, especially left on left.
Laced and caught by Vargas off the bag at third. He was lined up in the right spot. Emerson denied that first major league hit. So was mom and dad and everybody else. After 2, Mariners in front.
T-Mobile.
Well, this is what Colt Emerson's family looked like, thinking that maybe that first major league hit was on its way, but instead caught by Vargas at third base.
I know it's hard right now, but you can't get too caught up in the outcome. You got to look at the process, and that was a fantastic approach towards a good lefty pitcher in Schultz. He
Previous pitch was called a ball.
goes the
Catcher's
opposite
count.
way, lines out to third.
Prada thinks this was a strike.
Pitch is confirmed. It's a ball. Seattle has 1 count remaining.
And it nearly was. Mariners with 1 challenge remaining now. Luis Angel Acuna leading things off, the brother of Ronald Acuna Jr.
There's actually a slew of Acuna brothers. There's Kenny, who's like 14 years old, you know, in the pipeline as well. There's another Acuna who's in the
So you're telling
organization.
me you're telling me there's a Luis Angel and a Kenny?
It's a Kenny, yes.
He beats this one in the ground, just foul. He came up with the Rangers, this Acuna, and was traded to the Mets for Max Scherzer. That was back at the deadline in 23. And then this January was traded by the Mets to the White Sox, part of the Luis Robert Jr. deal. So he's been traded twice for a couple of pretty big names.
Yeah, they've got Brian, who's 20 years old in the Twins organization. He's a shortstop. And
on the ground, J.P. Crawford. One away.
And then Kenny. We'll have to wait for Kenny. All of 14 years old.
In due time. Leadoff man sat down by Wu for the second straight inning. Back at the top of the order. There's Sam Antonacci. Mariners leading 1-0 on a Julio home run. Time call. Antonacci just 23 years old, top 10 prospect for the White Sox. Has not played a whole lot of pro ball. Last year was his first full season. He got up to Double-A. Former fifth round draft pick by Chicago back in 2024 out of Coastal Carolina. Who's 1-0? Check swing foul. When he was called up this year, he had played just 14 games above Double-A, which we are seeing more and more of paths like that to the majors. Laced into the gap at left center field. Antonacci's got a base hit the other way. He's 2 for 2. He's having a really nice start to his major league career. Batting close to 300. How about a message from the Washington beef farmers and ranchers?
Win or lose, it's really about how you feed the game, right? Together, we bring more. Beef, it's what's for dinner.
1 out, 1 on in front of Murakami. He walked back in the first. So a walk earlier. We've talked about the strikeouts. We've talked about the home runs. He is the best form of a three true outcome hitter right now in baseball. Nearly 60% of his plate appearances end in a home run, a walk, or a strikeout.
And I understand that baseball is a team game, but he is one of those special players. And we know this, when Cal's in the lineup, he completely changes the Mariners team. We saw that last year. But he is a guy that has had a huge impact. Yes, he's just one guy on what this Chicago White Sox team does.
Swing and a miss. He has 17 home runs. He has hit 2 doubles.
That is just absolutely bonkers. I was going to say, like, oh, you want to keep Antonacci on first base. And I'm like, it doesn't really matter. He's not a doubles guy.
2-2. Well, he is proving that you can strike out a lot and still be a remarkably productive hitter. He is a batter of extremes. On the ground, and it's underneath the glove of Naylor, who dove for it. Antonacci making the turn, and the White Sox have him on the corners. They keep him in the ballpark. It's a single for Murakami. First and third now with 1 away.
This is a slider that he is just able to get his barrel to. Not really on plane. Hits it into the ground, but it's under the glove of Josh Naylor.
First and third for Vargas. Number 3 hitter for the White Sox. He had a multi-homer game against the Mariners back in Chicago not long ago. He's having a blistering hot month of May. The average is just over 300, but that's not the story. It's the damage he has done, an OPS of over 1,000. He has 11 home runs now on the season, and not a very easy guy to strike out. He's walked a ton as well.
You go back to his first at bat, he was able to put it in play, and we saw Emerson over at third base make a really nice play. But if you go back to Antonacci, who almost snuck into third, like how different that inning could have been if they did not get that out and get him out. He probably would have scored on Vargas, putting the ball in play.
96 up and in, and Wu falls behind 2-1. Now the teeth of this order has a lot of pop to it right now. Two and two. And he struck him out. Fastball puts Vargas away. 2 down.
This is a sinker that just gets below his barrel, and it was clear that Brian Wu had an approach that he wanted to stamp out against Vargas. Shook off Pareda a couple times.
Montgomery walked his first time up. He's batting here with 2 outs and runners on the corners. 13 home runs for Colson Montgomery. He fouls away the first pitch for strike 1. Montgomery, a former first-round draft pick, made his major league debut last year, just over 20 home runs. Wu ahead 1-2. Ooh, the driver's seat here with Antonacci at third base, Murakami at first. Who trying to get out of a 2-out jam. His 1-2. And he got him up top. Swinging in the attic. Clayton and Hillary. Brian's mom and dad cheering him on. A couple of punch outs to end the top of the third. Colt Emerson playing in his second big league game today and in the stands alongside his parents. Here is our own Ryan Roland-Smith. Hyphen.
Goldie, I am here with Colt Emerson's, the entire family, the whole crew's here. But I've got Stacy, his mum Stacy, his dad Jamie. We've got Brady over here and Sophie, the two of the siblings who, by the way, I get it. I had two older sisters too, been through the battle. I totally get it. But guys, you guys had a chance. You were here on Saturday, and then all of a sudden flew home. You're scheduled to go home, watch him play some AAA baseball. Flew home, and then when did you guys get the call that he was coming up to the big leagues?
Literally, it was right before he was supposed to play for the Rainiers, like about 4:20 p.m. our time.
Right, so because he got the call at 1 o'clock, and they're like, get in the car and head up. So you guys no time to turn around and get back up here, right?
No, none at all. So we booked a flight this morning.
So where were you guys watching from yesterday?
Home.
Yeah, we were watching from home. It was a nice broadcast there, the NBC broadcast, yeah.
Gotcha. So were you guys, admit too, you were kind of hoping, because you were planning on getting out here, hoping he wasn't going to get that first big league hit, right?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, like I said before, he told us earlier today, he said I was saving him for tonight when we could be here. So.
You guys have been here before, obviously during the draft, when that was announced and everything else, been to T-Mobile Park, and then obviously signed the extension. I mean, it's been a massive year for him. What's it been like for you guys? First of all, in the short term, just anticipating him to make that debut at some point.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster ride. I mean, because you anticipate it, and you know it's going to happen at some point, but you're kind of on pins and needles, just waiting for it to happen. And so, but I mean, now that it's here, and now that we're here, I mean,
I'm still trying to process it.
Great.
Actually, it's amazing now.
Hey, by the way, he stung that ball too, right? So again, will you guys give it to me? And obviously, the rest of the family are here too. We've got extended family. When you hit that ball, were you thinking, "Oh, this is it," or what?
I was cursing the shift.
That was a pretty big shift for sure.
Yeah, well, that's the way it is. You got to either hit it over to hit around it. So.
And flying out here too. Look, again, I grew up. I had made my debut. My parents had to fly all the way from Australia. Travis Bazzana just recently, his parents had to fly all that way to get over. They gave him a bit of a heads up. But what kind of emotions are going through your head when you're on that plane flying out here to know that you're about to watch your son, fulfill that dream of playing in the big leagues?
Yeah, I mean, you really don't even know what to think, and until you get here, until you experience it in the moment, there's nothing that can prepare you for it. So,
just all the hard work that he put into this, and just trying to get here. I mean, he's worked his butt off the last few years, just trying to get to this moment. So we're so proud of him.
Well, we're all just as excited as you guys are that Colt Emerson is here. He's a great young man, any interaction I've had with him. But we're going to get out of your hair right here before he gets that first hit. It's going to happen very soon. Thanks, guys.
Hey, thanks. Appreciate it. Yep.
Very cool. You think about all the journeys for all these players, and what a special time for Colt Emerson, for his mom, his dad, his entire family.
Jamie and Stacy were absolutely delightful, but I didn't even need to hear from them to know that. All you have to do is meet Colt, and you knew he came from really good stock, and no one gets here on their own.
That ball was scorched. Julio is out, and now home plate umpire is out there to talk about Antonacci, as that ball went in and out of his glove, and they are going to redirect some traffic. Let's see here. Well, Venable is out of his dugout. Julio is out, and Pareda is at first base. Antonacci came up on this 110-mile-an-hour low-line drive, and the question is, was this dropped intentionally?
Absolutely, it was. 100%. And especially, you're trying to make it look good, like I didn't mean to do that, but even stung at 110 miles per hour, he makes that decision that quickly to do that.
Pareda not far off the bat. Randy shoots this down the line towards the corner. And it's off the very base of the wall. Pareda ran into Montgomery, it looked like. He's chugging home. The throw's in plenty of time. Will there be a different call on the field? Did he run into Montgomery between second and third? They have given him home plate.
Yes.
The run scores.
Yep. Watch what happens right here. Right away, he makes...
It's Antonacci who is over on the other side of second base.
Yep, and that's why he continues to go towards home, even though he probably knows he's going to be out, because worst case scenario, he's going to be back at third. Best case scenario, he's going to be awarded home plate.
Umpires are talking things over, and he clearly ran into him with Antonacci's back to second base and the runner. And now all four umpires will huddle. And this looked like some pretty clear obstruction from Antonacci.
Why, just because I jumped out of the booth with my hand out?
A pretty animated conversation there between the umpires, clearly. Everybody's given their 2 cents. Dan Wilson is on the top step of the dugout. Venable is out near the line. A long conversation.
Whether it's these conversations or ABS, I just love the fact that baseball, they want to get it right.
Following a crew consultation, we've had obstruction around second base on the runner, and that hindered the runner from being able to score, and we're going to score that run and the home plate.
A great explanation by the crew chief, Trip Gibson.
And again, a really heads-up play by Pareda. Once he makes contact, and he didn't initiate that contact. Antonacci was in his way. He was certainly in the base path on his way to third base. You see Carlos go and get there. But again, worst case scenario, who's going to be back at third base?
And Antonacci, young rookie, learning from one of the umpires as Venable and looks like another White Sox coach is out there talking with an umpire as well.
The only thing I can guess that he's trying to argue is, they've changed the rules that the runner can't initiate that contact. And I don't think that's what we saw here at all. So I think that's fallen on deaf ears.
And there he goes. Will Venable has been ejected. Well, we saw Randy Arozarena have not a really similar play to this, but the result and the rule that you're talking about was along the same vein, and that is a runner this year cannot have interference to create obstruction, right? You cannot put yourself in the way to intentionally create obstruction by the defense.
Exactly. Go out of your way to initiate that contact.
And I think where it gets really tricky and it gets tough to define for anybody, even if you're just watching it on replay in slow motion after the fact, is that there's a chance where a base runner can initiate the contact, but that the defender is in the way obstructing, right? So you can initiate the contact like Pareda did, because Antonacci's back was turned to him. He couldn't have initiated it, but that does not take away from the fact that Antonacci was in his way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And now they're trying to figure out where to put Arozarena. We know this, no matter what the run scores, it's a 2-0 Mariners lead. And he looks like he'll be at third. So Randy at third base, 2 outs. And that hit by pitch comes all the way in to score. Naylor in the air, a Acuna comes in, and oh my gosh, almost a collision out there with Peters. He's the one who makes the catch in left field. Mariners grab a run. A little bit of a wild play. 2-0 after 3.
For more than...
Well, you still have a chance to snag Josh Naylor's first bobblehead as a Mariner. First 10,000 fans for the gates tomorrow will take home this one-of-a-kind bobble with the Mariners' first baseman, thanks to Western Washington Toyota dealers. Mariners.com/tickets. Benintendi fouls away the first pitch.
We showed on the broadcast the other day, we had Josh Naylor's reaction to his bobblehead. He was absolutely thrilled with it. It's fun. It's fun to have a 2-day giveaway, because like there's so many times where you're thinking like, oh man, I wish I was there tonight for the bobblehead. Okay, don't worry, come tomorrow. We got you.
First 10,000 fans for the gates tonight or tomorrow will take it home. Now, twice already in 3 innings, Wu has stranded some traffic. He left 2 on in the third. He left a couple of men on base in the first as well. And a very quick 8-pitch second inning.
That was helpful after having to throw 25 in that first. And like you said, so uncharacteristic to see Brian Wu have 2 walks in the same game, let alone the same inning.
2 walks matches a season high for any start. Strike 3 called right over the plate. Locked him up with a slider. 3rd straight strikeout for Wu.
That's the thing. I mean, you know, he throws so many fastballs, and his last 2 strikeouts on the 2-seamer and the 4-seamer, and then all of a sudden he drops that slider, not for the swing and miss, but into the zone. You're thinking fastball, and oh, locked up. Can I get you anything? No, thanks. Just looking.
Leadoff man retired in front of Kelnick. You think about how much Brian Wu is in the zone, you think about the fastball, so that slider kind of hammers home the point that since the start of last year, only 2 other starting pitchers have had a higher in-zone rate than Brian Wu.
Guys, you're talking about that first inning. I think with Brian Wu, I mentioned this in the open, the fact that we're going to see more of the sweeper-slider combination, because we saw more of that in that Houston start as it went on. He's getting more confident with that pitch. The book is out on him. They're going to be more in swing mode. But I think with Brian Wu, because he is so fastball heavy, it does take him a little bit to get that good feel, especially being away from the middle of the plate. When you throw around, 40% sliders in that first inning, it's going to be tougher, a little bit tougher just to get going to be where you want to be with that release point and with that command we're used to seeing.
A good slider there, gets a swing and a miss from Kelnick.
Well, and that's the most telling thing right there, and I think you would agree, Ryan, is, you know, batters face 15, first pitch strike, 12 with a 15.
Missing away. He struck out Kelnick on a good fastball his last time up.
It's still taking him just a little bit. I know he had that quick second inning, but he's missing up and away, missing that arm, so I get a little away from that arm a little bit.
And he fouls it back to Paredes' glove. 4th straight strikeout for Brian Wu.
And the second against Jared Kelnick on that 4-seam fastball. He went up and in that first strikeout, and this one at the top of the zone, right over the heart of the plate.
Going right after him with heaters. That's 6 strikeouts in total tonight for Wu. 2 up and 2 down in the 4th inning. Now got to add a new one there. How many do you think they come with to the ballpark? I mean, you got to be ready, right?
Yeah, right. Sure.
Yeah, you can't be rocking up with 15 of those and all of a sudden career night.
I would love it though, right? I mean, it'd be great to see how they would improvise, just like a Sharpie, you know, just something.
Got to be ready for what Emerson Hancock did.
I was about to say, punching out 14.
Yeah.
You never know.
Go to the FedEx Kinko's, print out, what, 10? Thinking, oh, I'll go to Emerson, let's get 10.
There's Emerson.
Smile. He's got a good reason to smile. Dealing right now.
Peters steps out. It was Hancock with a career night. 14 strikeouts without issuing a walk over 7 innings against the Royals 3 starts ago on a night where the Mariners honored Randy Johnson. And what a start to this season from Emerson Hancock. And such a good first couple of months. The Mariners are now in a 6-man rotation with a piggyback coming tomorrow.
Yeah, think about that, guys. I mean, the fact that you're the 6th man, you've been in that situation the last couple of years where you have to fill in for that one starting pitcher who has been injured. You get off to that good of a start that you are literally creating a piggyback scenario that you are not a part of. With Bryce Miller coming back and then Luis Castillo, I mean, I'm telling you, doing good things early in the season.
A 1-2. And he got him. Good gas upstairs. Brian Wu. He strikes out the side in order. 5 straight punch-outs for the Mariners starter. Well, it's not too late to come on board with the Mariners Flex membership. Choose your games and seats as you go. You can save 10% or more on tickets with no fees and lock in priority postseason access. Sign up for the most fan-friendly season ticket plan in baseball. Mariners.com/flex. Bark in the Park night here. I don't know about that Dodger dog.
All dogs are good dogs. All dogs are good dogs.
Previous pitch is called a strike. The hitter's counting.
Now, Refsnyder thinks this missed. Mariners 1 challenge left.
The pitch is overturned. Seattle has 1 challenge.
Good challenge there by Refsnyder. Mariners leading 2-0 on a first inning Julio home run and a Randy double with some obstruction that helped out. And scored Pareda, who was hit by a pitch. 3-0 the count on Refsnyder. He takes a strike. Clobbered left field, back near the wall, and wow, what a catch! Tristan Peters flagged it down. A sensational catch to take a hit away. Even Julio's impressed.
Yeah, Julio's face said it all. Tristan Peters can flat out fly out there. A really nice play by him. Covers a lot of ground to go get this because Rob Refsnyder, I mean, he touched that ball. That's good to see. Again, you know, this is what he's supposed to do. This is what the Mariners brought him in to come and sting left-handed pitching. No, it didn't hit grass. No, it didn't leave the yard, but that's a good sign there.
Here is Connor Joe. Really impressive catch. Tip your cap moment there, unfortunately, for Refsnyder. 2-0. This ball goes foul over by third.
I don't know if people understand this. Tristan Peters, to be able to make that catch, 26.6 feet per second. Okay. I mean, to cover that many feet per second, I mean, that is absolutely flying. How long would it take you to cover 26 feet? 5, 6 seconds? I'll raise my hand.
I guess there's a reason he's out there.
Yeah.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Schultz was maybe thinking that was a strike, but it was off the plate. Our EQC tracer shows it missing just wide. Full count now to Joe. Swing and a miss. He goes chasing. A message now from Hyundai.
Tech that lets you be you. How it should be. The Hyundai Tucson.
2 up and 2 down. Here's Cole Young. Well, for somebody who has really struggled with walks this year, Schultz, he's yet to walk a batter so far tonight.
That was rattling around in my brain last inning as well. I was like, where are all the walks, buddy? You know, let's get wild. Let's make it a party.
I think one of the difference for him has been, even though he's getting in these 2-0 counts, just that cutter, that variation. That's that pitch, man. When you sit in the dugout, days I wasn't pitching, the hitters were coming back. That pitch right there is the difference. Gets him right back in the count. But that's that pitch where hitters come back in. Hey, what you see? And it's just that slight variation off the hitter. And say, hey, look, that cutter's kind of bearing in a little bit. So you can't sit on either fastball or that bigger sweeper and try and pick up spots where that pitch is going to start. There's another one.
This is in the air, short right field. And Antonacci gives way to Kelmick, who makes the catch. Colt Emerson will lead off the 5th. We go to the top half. 2-0 Mariners. Tonight's Muckleshoot Casino Resort Pin Report. Gone really well for Matt Brash. 2 rehab outings with AAA Tacoma. Mariners are eager to get him off the injured list and back in the bullpen. It's been a very short-handed bullpen because of injuries. Mariners are down Brash and Gabe Spire currently. But good stuff for Brash, as he is seeming like getting pretty close to coming back.
You know, even after his first outing, they thought about bringing him back and activating him Sunday. It was either going to activate him Sunday or give him one more rehab outing. But you can imagine, since he pitched yesterday, there's no reason to activate him today, because they're probably not going to throw him back to back.
Guys, that is a great sign too. I remember back in Minnesota, we were kind of, it was iffy as to how long that would be, especially TJ last year. You know, they were going to slow play him if it was something pretty serious, but the fact he's back on the mound, literally going to be back here within a couple days. Hopefully, it's a great sign for this bullpen.
Yeah, that's a big arm for the Mariners to get back.
Well, it's just to have him and Gabe Spire down at the same time. I mean, 2 of your highest leverage arms. You know, for Dan Wilson, not to have both of them is just really tough. Has really pitched him in a lot of situations.
Jose Ferrer's really stepped up in a big way.
Yeah. Covering multiple innings, literally pretty much every time out.
He is the he's the left-handed Bizardo, Hyphen.
100%. Man, it makes such a difference, and for the entire bullpen when you have someone like that with that kind of stuff too. You got multiple innings, back-to-back days, the way he does. Angie, you mentioned Gabe Spire too. The fact you lose both of them at the same time. There's Gabe Spire. Had a chance to talk to him. He said his shoulder's feeling good. He's potentially close as well. Huge lift for that bullpen.
Skied out to short right field. Connor Joe comes in. That snaps a string of 5 consecutive strikeouts for Brian Wu. That was a career best for Wu. He'll take it out any way he can, though.
Yeah, Drew Romo's lucky he put bat to ball on that, too. He was so far out in front on that slider. It was nearly 6 in a row.
7 strikeouts tonight for Wu. His season high is 9. He's done that a few times. Here's Acuna. It's this right back and cut with a leap by Cole Young. That was right past Brian Wu and smoked, but a hard out number 2.
It's good to see that he can laugh about it. Pitches this and then ducks out of the way and maybe screens Cole Young just a little bit. Impressive hops by Cole. How can you not adore him? Brian Wu, you're the best.
Top of the order, Antonacci. A little more routine of a play here for Young. Wu retires the side in order for the second straight inning. Mariners rookie Colt Emerson will lead things off. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning.
T-Mobile.
Colt Emerson made his major league debut yesterday. Youngest position players to debut in Mariners history. Colt Emerson, 20 years, 301 days. One of the youngest ever in a Mariners uniform.
He's the second youngest position player this year in the bigs too. I mean, you just have to realize how rare what he is doing right now is.
One and one. Well, this will be a real test for him at this level. Was with Tacoma in AAA prior to this. Especially a left-handed test like tonight against Schultz.
Well, this was sort of the last test they wanted to see him pass down at the AAA level. They wanted to see him face left-handed pitching. They were not going to bring him up here. He's not going to be a platoon guy. You know, they wanted him to face lefties, have success against lefties, and, you know, all right, welcome to the big. Second guy you face is this guy. And oh yeah, if you're going to start tomorrow, you're going to be up against Anthony Kay. So, I mean, back-to-back lefties here. It'll be interesting to see what Dan Wilson does tomorrow.
The 2-2. Wow. Wow. That was incredible.
That was awful. That was awful.
Drew Romo.
Yeah.
Let's see what happened here.
Foul tip off the top of the glove. Looks up and is able to find it.
Wow.
Wow.
Welcome to the big leagues, Colt.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's awful. That's awful. I hate it. Colt Emerson was thinking he was going to get another strike.
Antonacci to his left. This is a little more normal. 2 outs. Well, the first Mariners fireworks night of the season is May 29th. You can be here for an epic 90s themed post-game show after the Mariners take on the Diamondbacks, presented by T-Mobile and Warm 106.9. Mariners.com/fireworks to get your tickets.
Think about it. That's Colt's, first strikeout, and it was an odd one at that. But, before that, he's lined out to right. He's walked. He's flew out deep to the track in right field. He lined out to third base. So, I mean, a bunch of really good at-bats to start off his major league career, even if he doesn't have a base hit to show for it.
Oh, man. 94 up and in to JP.
And that's that same spot that he got drilled yesterday. Right around that tricep, kind of locked up on him, couldn't make the throws across the infield. They took him out of the game. This one off the back.
I think that one got the rib. He's probably happy it's not that tricep again, because when you have that tricep, that ulnar nerve that runs down the back of your elbow, when that swells up and you can't straighten your arm like JP was saying that he couldn't do, if you get hit there again, I mean, it's bad news.
Two outs, JP aboard. Not how he would have liked. Here's Julio. JP stays put, and that escapes Romo's glove momentarily. Our Chevy Silverado drive of the game. First at bat from Julio today, an opposite field home run.
Yeah, this one went 396 feet, just squeaks over the wall in right center field. But the reason why it just squeaks by, he hit it so hard, 104 on a line.
Six home runs this month for Julio. Most in a single month for Julio in his career is 8. He's done that twice. So plenty of time in this month to catch that number.
Yeah, and with the Mariners scuffling a little bit like they have against left-handed starters, it's good to see Julio's numbers against southpaw. 6 of his 8 home runs have come against left-handed pitching.
This is down the line, slicing foul. Still 1-2. Randy would be next if Julio can reach. Popped him up. Foul ground. Romo chasing, but is out of room. This is on top of the dugout. Well, the Mariners had just 1 home run in the Padres series. They gave up 5. That was part of the problem.
I thought we weren't talking about the Padres series anymore. Not the season series, not the series. We've just, what are we doing, Aaron?
I think everybody's happy to move past it. This is down and in, 2-2.
If I'm Julio right here, I'm saying something middle away in this situation. Noah Schultz hasn't shown the ability to get inside at all. Look for something middle away. And just spit on that pitch right there. You cannot land that pitch inner half of the plate.
Julio calls time. Two outs, Crawford at first. Swing and a miss. Changeup gets Julio to retire the side. Well, this smile moment is brought to you by Delta Dental Washington, supporting healthy smiles across Washington. That was after that hard line drive out off the bat of Acuna that was caught by Cole Young. 7 strikeouts. And a good look at Woo's punch-outs via StatCast. Some four-seamers up.
Yeah, majority on the fastballs between the four-seamer and the two-seamer. But I got a couple on the slider. Both of them to Benintendi. One looking, one swinging.
Looking for what would be his second career start with double-digit strikeouts. 77 pitches beginning the 6th. Murakami fouls it away.
You look at where his pitch count is and the reason why. You look a little closer and you look at that 2nd inning and you look at that 5th inning. Both those innings he ended up with just 8 pitches in both of those. And now he's sitting at 78. Pretty impressive after a 25 pitch burst.
It was not the way he wanted to start his day. A couple of walks and stranding 2 runners in that 1st inning. is 1-2. Josh Lowe. Got a piece to stay alive. Now the Mariners trying to get back to their strength. It has been very uncharacteristic what happened the last 2 games out of the Mariners rotation. 7 runs allowed by Gilbert on Saturday, 6 runs allowed yesterday by Kirby. Rolled over to first base. Naylor's got it, skimming the whole way. Little flip with Wu covering. And a dangerous bat retired. June 1st to the 3rd, Juan Soto and the Mets come to T-Mobile Park. Little interleague action. You can go to mariners.com/tickets. Hope to see you here.
You're talking about the starting pitcher. Keep going back to those 2 outings that Brian Wu had where guys have been uber aggressive hitters in the middle of the plate. And you're kind of thinking to yourself, okay, is this where a situation where Brian Wu has to switch things up a little bit? The next couple outings, he was fastball heavy, yes, but I think with this lineup, with all these lefties, and one thing you noticed, and you saw those strikeouts with that pitch right there, but just throwing that rifle in, just getting that good sweeper into the strike zone early in these counts. Look at 42% on that pitch is all the difference, because you just simply cannot sit on that heater. You can have that more margin for error and feel better about being in the strike zone, especially up on that fastball late.
And that fastball up misses. Wild one for the Mets tonight. 10 runs scored in the top of the 12th, the most in the majors in any extra innings since '83. Wow. Chopping over to third.
I'm like that old person that just now realizes like how long ago 1983 was. I'm like, 1983? Like, I mean, the neon, you know, like that's my heyday. But yeah, I guess it was a little while ago.
Rick Riz's first year at the end.
Yeah, that's so 41 years ago. Thanks for doing the math for me.
Vargas pops this over to Naylor at first base.
Guess I wasn't including the stint with the Tigers for Rick in there. So 41 plus 4. Got it.
2 up and 2 down. That brings up Montgomery. Wu trying to go 6 innings for the 3rd straight start. This Mariners rotation leading baseball in innings pitched, 4th in quality starts, and Wu a big part of both of those. So many first pitch strikes once again tonight from Brian Wu. In the driver's seat, no balls, 2 strikes to Montgomery.
I think that's some of the offenses too. I mean, the Atlanta Braves, when he had that bounce back, best offense in baseball. The White Sox just did some damage to the Chicago Cubs. They've been doing some good things offensively. Here's Brian Wu looking at 2 outs here in the 6th inning, just 89 pitches.
On an 0-2. He struck him out. 95-mile-an-hour bolt from Brian Wu. 6 scoreless in the books. What a night for Brian Wu in Seattle. Mariners have both runs going to the bottom of the 6th inning here tonight. Game 1 against the White Sox. Randy spins around like a top, comes up empty on that sweeper. He's been swinging a hot bat all year, really. Last 10 games, 16 hits. Batting over 430, on basing a crisp 500. A lot of walks this year from Arozarena. And the occasional hit by pitch.
Yeah, this year he's been hit 6 times. What you think about last year? I mean, it just seemed like he was living on base with the hit by pitches. Find a way.
Count evens. Randy leading the club in hits and doubles and stolen bases. 2-2. It's this hard but foul. It is wild, just kind of the way the ball bounces when the Padres were in town. The big storyline around Fernando Tatis Jr. is how much he's hit the ball on the ground this year. He hasn't homered, obviously. His overall numbers have really suffered. Randy's hit the ball on the ground a lot this season, and yet he's batting .300.
Just putting the ball in play, and he hits the ball so hard.
This is in the air out to straightaway center field. It turns Acuna around. It's over his head, and short hops the fence. Randy's into second. It's his second double tonight. And his hot hitting continues to begin the bottom of the 6th inning.
This is really impressive. I mean, this changeup is down at the very bottom of the zone. And you look, he's got the gas on, and then he recognizes changeup. He kind of throws on the brakes through his swing, and then he's got to put on the gas again.
That's his spot, though, those low pitches, especially the low hitters, but just staying through that pitch so well. That's just, man, if you're going to throw a changeup down there that Randy, you better get it well below the strikes, and that's where he does all that damage.
This is to the backstop off of Romo's glove. And Randy easily takes third. That's a big extra 90 feet for the Mariners.
I'm not exactly sure what happened there. It looked like they maybe had something on that they were going to try to get Randy, because Romo comes out of his stance there, and it just wound up in a different spot and handcuffed him just a little bit. Or he took his eye off of it, trying to make the transfer too quickly.
It's a pass ball, and the infield now has to come in. Big run out there at third. Hit hard through the drive in infield. Josh Naylor with a ribby. His second knock tonight. It's a 3-0 Mariners lead just like that.
You can't tell by looking at Josh Naylor there, but he's happy right now. You know, he's scuffled a little bit more than we're used to seeing against left-handed pitching, but here with a runner on third and a chance to give the Mariners another run, he gets it done.
'85 pitches for Schultz. His season high is 87. Rookie making just his 7th big league start. Naylor taken off, and this finds the backstop. We've seen that before.
His last series, Josh Naylor, in addition to being 3 for 11 at the plate, he had a couple of stolen bases, and here he takes off so early, and Romo's just trying to play catch up.
That's a strike on the outer edge. Lefty Brandon Eisert is warming up. Just 3 appearances this year for the White Sox. Soft tosser. Two and one on Refsnyder, who was robbed of a base hit his last time up on an incredible catch by Tristan Peters in left field. Three and one.
If I'm Refsnyder, I'm swinging out my shoes right here, 3-1. There's an open base. Something inside the strike zone.
Three and one to Refsnyder. Naylor at second. Nobody out. Naylor dancing around, draws another throw. He's safe again. Close. So back-to-back moves.
I tell you what, I know that was close right here, but Noah Schultz is trying to make a big pitch. 3-1 with that open base. You can see as close as this was too, Josh Naylor. Look, he sees something obviously in Noah Schultz paying attention on that top step, but this just disrupts you so much. See if he coughs one up right here. Oh, good pitch. Could have got 3-1 right there, middle of the plate.
EQC Tracer has that on the corner there. 3-2 to Ref Snyder. And strike 3 called. Let's see if there's a challenge coming here. No, there's not. Mariners have one in the tank, but they don't use it. Let's see where the EQC Tracer puts this. Down and in. And Schultz, looks like that's how his night will end. Now Schultz, to his great credit tonight, who has really struggled with walks, did not walk a batter tonight. And he exits with a man at second. We've got a pitching change.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Seattle Mariners and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Seattle Mariners. That guy right there had a pretty good night at the plate.
Tonight, night 1 of 2 of the Josh Naylor bobblehead. Connor Joe facing Brandon Eiser. First pitch strike from the former Oregon State Beaver. 28-year-old with some Northwest roots, born in Portland.
He's got recalled just a couple of days ago, joined this bullpen.
Like Ryan said, he was called up from AAA. Didn't fare well in Charlotte. 5.79 earning in 14 innings pitched.
1-1. Mariners trying to open this one up a little bit. Naylor at second, 1 out on a 2-1. On that changeup, his bread and butter. 72 appearances last year from Eiser, among the most of any left-handed reliever in baseball. And Joe calls for time. Six innings from Wu. Close take. Elevated slider, full count. A couple of lefties due up after Connor Joe. (3-2) on the ground. Montgomery bobbles it. Joe, he bobbles it again, and Joe is safe. Just the second error this year from Colson Montgomery. Came right to him.
Yeah, Colson Montgomery looked like he was in pretty good shape for this one. You see it kind of took a little bit of a bad hop right there up at the end of it and wasn't able to adjust his hands.
1 out and 2 on. Left on left for Cole Young. Both runners take off. Throw goes to third to get Naylor. He is safe.
Just a great time to go here, and Josh Naylor is so careful about when he decides to go. Eiser just coming in to the game. He's focused on the batter at home plate. Really nice slide, and he's able to hang on by the oven mitt or the foot. They both work.
Infield is in with runners at second and third. 0-2 on Cole Young now. Romo keeping an eye on Naylor, trying to keep him close over there. Naylor at third, Joe at second. Here comes the 1-2. Romo, nice stop, keeps it in front of him. Cole Emerson due up next. Back-to-back young left-handed hitters for the Mariners. One out, second and third, infield in. Cole Young has been such a run producer this year for the Mariners. A chance here for a couple. Takes low, able to lay off the changeup. No player for the Mariners this year has more plate appearances with runners in scoring position than Cole Young, and he's made the most of them. 3-2.
Really good fight here by Cole Young. I mean, this pitch is coming from behind you. Everything in your body is telling you to open up, but he stays closed with that front side.
Chopping on a short hop. Murakami handles it himself over at first base. Nice play for out number 2. Runners stay put. Oh, what a time this would be for the first major league hit for Cole Emerson. Two outs, 2 on. And on the hands, fouls it back. Emerson playing in his second major league game. The 0-1. Falls behind 0-2. Naylor at third, Joe the runner at second. A couple of big runs out there for the Mariners. Here it comes. Mom, Dad, the entire family watching on. Next pitch to Emerson. On a 2-2. And on his hands, fouls it away. Emerson trying to slow things down here. Chance for his first hit. First runs batted in. Another 2-2. Does he go? No, he does not. Eisert has run his third straight 3-ball count.
I think he checked it.
Broken bat pop up. Vargas drifting back, cut of the grass, and behind him Montgomery shows up to make the catch. The Mariners strand a pair, but they grab a run on Naylor's RBI. Brian Wu giving the ball tonight for the Mariners, and he was fantastic yet again.
Yeah, 8 punch-outs tonight. We expected to see the fastball, and so did the White Sox. Even though they knew it was coming, there wasn't much they could do about it. That four-seam fastball lived at the top of the zone or just above it. 5 of the punchies coming on that four-seam fastball. His slider was also really good tonight. Got a couple of strikeouts on the slider and got one on the sinker.
It's Pizzardo who takes over. Wu retired the final 11 batters that he faced. At one point tonight, striking out 5 in a row. That was an all-time career best.
See if Will Venable goes to his bench, but right now it's 3 lefties in front of Pizzardo, Benintendi, Kelnick, and Peters. You look at both of these starting pitchers tonight. Schultz, most impressive thing on his line to me is the fact that he didn't walk anybody, a guy who's been walking the house.
Yeah, Noah Schultz, he was impressive, and especially to the way he finished it. The only time he landed a pitch on the inner half of the plate was that last pitch he threw to finish off his night. But going back to Brian Wu too, I think the slider was the difference for me tonight, because he was landing that pitch early. Took him 25 pitches that first inning. I felt like he was a little side to side, a little wobbly with the command of that pitch. But just getting these hitters off that fastball, was able to finish everyone with the four seam up.
Benintendi flies out to short left field. Randy is there. Yeah, big jump in the slider usage tonight for Wu. Really used that a ton to all those lefties.
Yeah, I think lately too, look, he's got that lower arm slot and just staying on that pitch a little bit longer. Again, talking about that in the open, last couple times out, just tracking that weight to the hitter just a little longer and staying on that, getting that depth to that pitch, feeling more confident with it. Again, that's a message to the whole league too. A couple of these outings he's got coming up, just to back off that heater a little bit, because everyone was getting pretty swing happy against Brian Wu.
26 strikeouts over his last 18 innings with only 2 earned runs allowed.
But like you said, Aaron, you're right. And he used that slider a lot to the lefties. They saw it over a quarter of the time. And it's not just the horizontal movement. It's that downward movement that makes that pitch so tough against the lefties.
Now, so many lefties in this lineup tonight. All but 2 batters hitting left-handed for the White Sox. Kelenic, one of them. He's behind 1-2 facing Bizzardo. Swing and a miss. Fastball upstairs. 2 down. Gomez Julio Rodriguez 90s jersey night at the end of the month. First 15,000 fans will take home this 90s inspired sleeveless jersey May 30th thanks to KeyBank. Mariners.com to get your tickets now. Two up, 2 down. Here is Peters. Peters, a deep drive to right field, way back and gone. White Sox on the board. A 2-out solo home run. This is the second this year for Peters. Just a 2-run game.
Well, you know what you're going to get when you're facing Bizzardo. He throws a lot of 2-seam fastballs. This 2-seamer, though, lives up middle, 96, and that's just a dangerous place to live.
That snaps 13 White Sox hitters in a row retired. There was Drew Romo, the switch hitting catcher for Chicago. Broken bat, a little bloop, and it works out for Romo. And now the tying run comes to the plate.
We see Bizzardo break a lot of bats. Usually it's just hammer balls into the ground. This one, he hits off the end of the bat and is able to just drop it into left.
Wasn't a bad pitch. I think so many times, Goldie, how many times we said last year, and Bizzardo talked about this, getting that sinker in on that front hip to those lefties. The home run to Tristan Peters, trying to go in there, missed out over the plate. Even that pitch right there, it's just, like I said, good pitch, but down and away.
Yeah, he got it below the zone.
Yeah. Now, I've seen a couple guys. George Kirby struggled with that pitch at times. Brian Wu trying to find that. We see a lot of 4-seamers to lefties. Doesn't quite have that sinker yet as this season goes on, and even for Bizzardo as well.
Bullpen is up for the Mariners. Ferrer is getting loose. Top of the order is next. Murakami is looming. He bats second in the order. Pinch hitter Chase Mydroff hitting for Acuna. A move over to first base. Acuna has really struggled offensively this year. And the White Sox trying to seize this opportunity even with the right-handed bat against the righty Bizzardo.
It's just kind of interesting. You swap out one right-handed bat for another right-handed bat, and you allowed 3 lefties to face Bizzardo.
And Meidroth, an offensive upgrade from Acuna. The 1-0. Up and in.
The other part of this is, you're really kind of running out of time if you're the White Sox. And Acuna is not one of those guys who generally, with one swing of the bat, with a runner on, is going to be able to change the game. Doesn't have a home run yet on this year.
At the bottom of the zone. 2-1. We normally see Meidroth at second base for Chicago. 3 home runs this year, batting over 260. He's the tying run at the plate in the 7th. Fouls it back. Pretty league average when it comes to the strikeout and the walk. Bizzardo's 2-2. It's inside. Romo taken off, and he's into second. First attempt this year for Romo.
That's a little catcher-on-catcher violence. Sometimes you can fall asleep just a little bit with the catcher on first base, and that was clearly stolen on Bizzardo. Nice exchange by Pareto.
Bizzardo trying to finish off the 7th inning. 2 outs and his 3-2. Top of the order, Antonacci is due up next, left-handed hitter. And then Murakami after him. Ferrer is warmed up and ready to go. This will be the end of the line one way or the other for Bizzardo. Another 3-2. And he lost him. Meidroth pinch hitting, draws the walk. First and second. Lineup card turns over. Ferrer coming on to face Antonacci. Mariners TV is brought to you by Virginia Mason Franciscan Health. Make a play for your health with the Mariners' trusted sports medicine provider. And by your local Ford dealer, home of the F-150, America's best-selling truck for 49 years. Beautiful night here at T-Mobile Park. Game's getting interesting here in the 7th. Ferrer takes over, inheriting a couple of runners, leading by 2.
Okay, but this I understand a little bit more. You got Ferrer coming in to face Antonacci and Murakami, but the White Sox switch out to Antonacci. We're going to see a pinch hitter in Randall Grichuk. But it was like Bizzardo came in and faced 3 straight lefties, and then you had Acuna replaced with a righty for a righty. So okay, this I can wrap my head around a little bit more.
Well, Antonacci's hitting .071 against lefties. He's having a really good year. I think with Meidroth in that situation coming in, I think it was more of just your best bullet with runners on here in the 7th.
Jackknifes him. 97 runs inside of the veteran. Ball 1 to Grichuk. First and second. Fly ball, playable. Julio and Randy coming over. It's Julio to put it away for out number 3. Ferrer strands a pair. Now the Mariners take the lead as we stretch. Mariners TV is brought to you by the Washington Lottery. Washington's lottery helps fund the Washington Grant. Free money for college, training, or apprenticeships. Mariners take the lead to the bottom of the 7th inning. 3-1 Mariners in front. Game 1 of 3, Mariners and the Chicago White Sox. Now Ferrer came on with 2 outs and 2 on at the top of the 7th, facing the pinch hitting Randall Grichuk.
This was a huge out here by Ferrer, and Dan Wilson continues to rely on him more and more in these critical situations. But right there, I mean, that's a pivot point in the game.
Jordan Hicks, the new pitcher on the mound for the White Sox. He faces 9-1-2. It starts off with Johnny Pareda. Hard throwing righty.
You're right. He throws gas, but you look at in his 16 1/3 innings pitched, he's got 13 strikeouts, but he's got 17 walks along the way too.
And it's just never been a big strikeout guy, even in his days of throwing 101 to 103 miles an hour with the Cardinals. Big ground ball pitcher, a lot of sinkers.
I mean, between that sinker and the sweeper, I mean, that's what you're getting about 95% of the time.
A guy who's had kind of an interesting career. At one point, a closer, then moved into the rotation as a starter. Now he's with the Giants, and then eventually moves back to the bullpen.
Hey, Goldie, you mentioned the fact when they tried to transition into a starting pitcher. I remember around that time where he kind of said messed with his head a little bit. He got to a place where he's really over-processing a guy who can throw upper 90s, hitting triple digits at times.
Lined into center field. Pareda with a base hit. He reaches for the second time.
Talked about it. He throws that sinker sweeper combo nearly 95% of the time through 3 straight sweepers. I knew it. I shouldn't try 3 yeses in a row. It's just, that's on me. 3 straight sweepers, and he lines up the 3rd one he sees.
That'd get anybody. Here's JP.
Tell you what, Paredes been getting a ton of game time. You know, since Cal went down, you're thinking to yourself, okay, Mitch Garver's probably going to be doing most of the work back there. He had a sore back on the weekend. Paredes had some hard contact since he's been back behind the dish.
He's got a good approach at the plate, Ryan. You're right. I mean, he's aggressive. You know, you fall behind in the count, and he's going to get his A swing off.
It seems like the Mariners are being very, very cautious with trying to keep Mitch Garver upright. He's had an injury history when he was catching more regularly, and now, of course, he's in line to catch more than he ever has as a Mariner. And so trying to split up that time appropriately between the veteran Garver, who has obviously a great knowledge of this pitching staff and a wonderful rapport with the pitchers as well. And Pareda learning that more since spring training.
Isn't it funny when you hear Dan Wilson say when he has Cal Raleigh, one person go down and he's going to have 2 guys filling in, how we're going to keep both of those guys fresh.
And you could tell with Mitch yesterday, Padres were running on him. You could tell everything was just slow moving behind the plate. That back was bugging him. He probably won't admit it. But you can tell he was just kind of, the guys were taking off, the Padres, base runners taking advantage. He was a slow moving, looked stiff behind the plate, dealing with that back.
JP swings and misses at a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Well, you remember when Mitch was originally signed by the Mariners, that 2-year free agent deal. Mitch, who's now 35 years old, the idea was to put Garver as the everyday DH, and one of the arguments that was made for that, obviously, he was coming off a great year offensively with the Rangers and winning the World Series. But all of his injuries had been sustained while catching, and so now he's a few years older. And you think about where the Mariners would be if they were to lose Mitch Garver in addition to Cal Raleigh, and then you're in a really bad spot. So you can understand them trying to kind of mix and match with Garver and Pareda.
And it's been nice. I mean, Pareda's done a nice job behind the plate. Really has.
Julio is out to Montgomery.
Yeah, Mitch, just back on that with Mitch Garver too. You mentioned the fact he was DH, and yeah, there's a whole lot of pressure to do some big things offensively. But I think for him, it was a good thing to get back behind the plate because you can contribute a little bit behind the dish. You can have that rapport. You kind of lose a little bit of that identity being a catcher and having that rapport with a pitching coach, a pitching staff. You take all that away when you have to DH, and man, the pressure is on you. Better come up and rake. A chance for him to catch and contribute in different ways.
Yeah, I think you're right, Ryan. At that point, last season, it was good to get him back in the mix catching. But right now, you got to be careful about, how you're going to go about this with him to make sure that he stays healthy.
Now Romo able to put a glove on that sweeper that was down and away sharply.
Yeah, he just became an infielder at that point, basically. This ball is just got to be paddled. You're just trying to stop that pitch.
Couple of doubles tonight for Randy.
Sinker right here at the bottom of the strike zone. Drive that ball right back up the middle.
He backs away from a sinker down and away. 3-1.
Did he see the sinker and then back away, or did he back away and then saw the sinker?
I think Randy made his mind up to back away.
That was one of the most perplexing conversations I've ever had. Aaron and I went down there to ask Randy, all right, tell us how sometimes we see you just step out. And I don't think I got any closer to understanding his mindset, other than the fact that sometimes he decides he's not going to swing.
Strike 3 called. Randy wants to challenge. Does this graze the edge of the strike zone? It was close. Let's see here.
Call is confirmed. Seattle has no challenges left.
It does get just enough. Randy strikes out. A man is left. After 7, Mariners have the lead.
Awaits.
Tomorrow, the middle game of the series. This will be a unique one for the Mariners. It's the first piggyback assignment for the M's this year. Bryce Miller will start, and Luis Castillo will be the first man out of the bullpen. Murakami leads things off. Well, I suppose they could have a reliever bridge in between, but you get the point.
Yeah.
Castillo will pitch in relief, so this will be a very different field tomorrow.
There's a lot of questions with the 6-man rotation, because when you have a 6-man rotation, it means that you're a man down in the bullpen. You're still sort of a man down in the bullpen. So the idea with this piggyback is hopefully these two, quote, starters can, basically pitch the entire game between the two of them. But, if something goes sideways, then all of a sudden you're a man down in the bullpen, and in addition to using 2 starters, you've got to now tax that bullpen. So again, this is kind of, this more from being a 6-man rotation to piggyback, and hopefully, this will work.
And it would certainly be different tomorrow. Murakami, a chopper up the middle. Crawford ranging, 360 spin, and it's wide over by the camera. Well, it stays on the field, and because of that, Murakami is not given second base, as JP's errant throw puts Murakami aboard to begin the 8th inning, brings the tying run to the plate.
This is something we usually say JP do so well. Able to go up the middle, use his momentum to spin and sort out where first base is, but just throws it up the line. Josh Naylor, whose footwork is so good over there at first base, nothing he can do on that one.
Well, it gets tricky here. You got a lot of power coming to the plate now. Not just in Vargas, but some of the guys who follow as well. Strike 1 his way. In on his hands at 97, 0-2. We've got a run of lefties after Vargas. Ferrer bridging the 7th to the 8th innings. Way in front. It'll be interesting to see what Dan Wilson decides to do as this inning unfolds. Munoz is warming up. This is not something you normally see the Mariners closer doing in the 8th inning with nobody out. Fly ball, Julio tracking this in front of the warning track to put it away, and the ballpark holds it by plenty. There is out number 1.
good communication down on the field. You could hear it all the way up here in the booth. Everybody letting Julio know he needed to get behind that and come through it because Murakami was looking to tag on first base.
And our Snoqualmie Supermo.
So you mentioned this is the first time you see Mooney warming up here. Hopefully to get him in that 9th inning. You have to stretch him too far, but think about it. I mean, they just got swept by the Padres. He didn't pitch at all those 3 days. You're trying to bank some wins right here when you got him up by 2.
We've not seen a 1+ yet this year for Munoz. And this finds the backstop. That does not help. Murakami, that error now looks like a double.
This is a sinker that Ferrer just kind of overcooks. And if you're Pareda, there's certain places that you anticipate your pitcher missing on certain pitches, and just didn't look like he was in a position in that stance to be able to push off glove side.
Pareda able to track this one down. Murakami not going anywhere. 1-2. Now no more chance for a double play. And certainly the Mariners had that in mind with a ground ball pitcher like Ferrer. So a big 90 feet on that wild pitch. One out runner at second, tying run at the plate. And he goes down swinging. A 98-mile-an-hour sinker puts Montgomery away. 2 outs.
Look at the location on this pitch. Starts at his kneecap and then makes its way over to the painted inside low and in part of the strike zone. Great pitch.
That's an area you never see him go left on left, especially with 2 strikes down and in. He's got that good downward on that sinker, but he just hasn't done that at all this season. It's a tough pitch.
Pinch hitter Edgar Caro. Switch hitting catcher for the White Sox. He had the walk-off home run. That was yesterday to beat the Cubs. He's batting for Benintendi here. Shoots this down the line. Foul. Lane on 97.
I guarantee that meeting right there with Parade with Ferrer, like, hey, look, it's 176. Just get after him. Don't overthink this. Whip through your 2 strikes.
The 0-2. Shattered the bat. A couple of toothpicks out there. Now a message from Jack in the Box.
Get my new Smash Jack Sliders Munchie Meal for a chance to win $75,000.
Welcome to Jack in the Box.
Now the home run yesterday for Caro was his first of the year. It was his second extra base hit of the season. He represents the tying run with 2 outs in the 8th inning. Murakami at second base. 0-2. It is inside. Well, that's a big league deke from Trip Gibson behind home plate. He looked like he was ready to ring him up. EQC Tracer has it in.
Yeah, I think he thought about it.
Weak ground ball. Ferrer's got it. Sprints over to first base to retire the side. An impressive 1+ from Jose Ferrer. Well, tonight's the first night of 2 nights of our Josh Naylor bobblehead giveaway, thanks to your Western Washington Toyota dealers. First 10,000 fans of the ballpark took it home, and if you come tomorrow, you're one of the first 10,000. You can take home Josh Naylor's first ever Mariners bobblehead.
Make him agree with you. How are you feeling at the plate, Josh? Really good. Yeah, are you feeling good at the plate? Yes, he says. That's what he said to me.
Well, Naylor looking for his 3rd hit tonight. He drove in the last run for the Mariners. That was an RBI single back in the 6th inning. He begins the 8th, the home half, facing a new pitcher. Trevor Richards is on the mound. He shoots this into left field. A 3-hit night for Josh Naylor. Mariners would love to get that run back.
We've seen a lot more of this from Josh Naylor lately. He's going up the middle and the opposite way. He's just making so much better swing decisions on the pitches he decides to put into play. And look at how still his head is right there as he's drives this ball the other way.
Angie, I mean, just the timing too. Remember, he came out the gates from that WBC. We've talked all about the guys off to a slower start. Him and Cal, obviously, but just rolling over everything to second base those first couple of weeks, being super aggressive. Now all of a sudden, let that ball get a little deeper up the middle. And plate coverage too. The one thing, like left on left, we've seen this, especially against the Noah Schultz, a tough look. You get those pitches that are away from him, able to shoot that ball up the middle.
Yeah, I agree. And Josh Naylor is one of the few guys that you'll see, like all of last year. You looked at like his hot zones, and it's like high and away. And it's like, who has a hot zone there outside of Josh Naylor? I mean, he really is impressive in his ability to drive the ball the opposite way.
Canzone pinch hitting. He bats for Ref Snyder. Ahead 2-0. Naylor not far off the bag. Three balls, no strikes. And ball 4, challenge coming. White Sox have 2 challenges left, so you can understand why they might challenge anything that is remotely close. I don't know if that qualifies. Drew Romo trying to look after his pitcher there, does not work out. So a single and a walk.
And Goldie, we're starting to see how important that is. They save that challenge to late in the game. You saw Randy Rosarena try and challenge, burn that second one. He looked at the dugout and was like, hey, my bad, in that situation, because he knew that he was burning that second challenge if he missed it. Trying to keep at least one here late.
And Mariners are out at this point. They do have the lead, though. Well, this is somebody that the White Sox are not eager to look at again. You go back to the first time these two teams met in the recent road trip for the Mariners. It was a 7 RBI night for Luke Raley. A grand slam and a 3-run homer.
It's just an incredible night by Luke Raley, and I love the fact that his first home run was on an 0-2 pitch. I mean, you're not looking to leave the yard when you're 0-2, but that's the kind of strength he has. All he has to do is meet the baseball, and it's going to go.
And the key here is just lay off that Trevor Richards changeup. You're going to get a couple off that pitch, get that hitter. There it is.
And he got the changeup right away.
Yeah, I wasn't listening. And lefties have hammered him. If you can lay off that changeup, like Ryan said, lefties going into this appearance, you know, hitting 467 against him with some damage.
Lands that one for a strike. It's quickly 0-2.
Doubled up on the changeup.
Nobody out, 2 on. And Raley down on 3 pitches. Fastball over the plate that he swings through, 1 away.
It just kind of lulls him to sleep with the back-to-back changeups and then comes back. And even though that pitch is only 92 miles per hour, the 4-seam fastball, he's able to get it by Raley. Changeups landing in there at 80 and change. 80 miles per hour. Ooh,
no throw, but a look over there. That does count as a disengagement. Cole Young at the plate. Good take just outside. That one floats high. Mariners trying to get a little breathing room for the 9th inning.
Well, this is the pitch here. You know, you just saw the changeup. Make sure you're on time for the fastball. You got the count in your favor. 2-0. Get your A swing off.
Sky to shadow left center. Peters gives way. Grichuk, who has taken over in left field. And here comes Cole Emerson with 2 outs and 2 on. Cole 0 for 3 tonight, looking for his first big league hit tonight, his 2nd game. Mariners top prospect who made his major league debut yesterday. Drops that in for a strike. He goes 0-2.
And again, back-to-back changeups. He's doubling up on that changeup. And even though you know he's got that pitch and you're down 0-2, you got to reset for the fastball.
2 outs, 2 on an 0-2. Next pitch to Emerson. Count evens. Two. Fights off a changeup on the corner. Tough pitch.
I'll tell you what, he saw some nasty changeups from Lucas Giolito making his season debut yesterday. He had some really good at-bats against that fastball changeup. Back-to-back sequencing. Good job right there staying in the at-bat, fouling that pitch off.
Naylor, both runners going. Foul back. Mariners have pulled a double steal once already tonight. Naylor has a couple of bags this evening. Now with 12 on the season.
I love the fact it's continued on for 2025 in stealing bases. Stole 8. Stole third base 8 times last year. Love it.
Again, the 2-2. Down the right field line. Into the corner. And this is gone! Cole
Oh, this is just absolutely fantastic. He tries to throw that changeup again. You saw the grip, the ball coming out of his hands, and so did Colt Emerson. Guys, this is going to be fun to watch this kid for years to come. This is just the beginning. They push him out for a curtain call. I love it.
Now, Dad was trying to play it pretty cool, wasn't he? Brian Woo's mom going over there to give him a hug.
Of course she is. Hillary, you're a star. Isn't that neat? I mean, isn't that neat? It's like a little league game. You know, one mom coming over to another mom. That was certainly worth the wait, wasn't it?
Incredible.
Oh, yeah, and it's a 3-run shot, too, that blows this game completely open.
Pareda out to right field. Colt Emerson's first major league hit, his first big league home run. 3-run shot out to right. Incredible.
Wendy's.
We'll be remembering this one for a while. Colt Emerson.
His 7th pitch of the at-bat, the 5th changeup that he sees. Be careful trying to outsmart this kid. He learns so quickly. J.P. Crawford right there to hand him his first ever trident. There you go, kid.
Well, it's a 5-run game, but Munoz was up and warming since the 8th inning even. And so he's on there to pitch with a 5-run lead. He hasn't pitched in 4 days.
I think it just makes sense. You already had him hot. Let him get in there and hopefully have a quick inning. Lots of things to celebrate tonight if this one stays.
Six, 7, and 8 due up for the White Sox. Julio giving ground, center field, and he makes the catch. 1 away.
All right, that looked easy. That was not easy. I mean, Julio Rodriguez turns his back, takes his eye off the ball, dead sprint to go get that baseball.
Looks like that one had a little extra giddy up on it at the end as well. To reach back and reel it in. One out, nobody on. Here is Tristan Peters. One ball and 1 strike. Munoz gets ahead. Peters has the only run of this game batted in for the White Sox. It was a solo home run of the 7th. Just his 2nd home run this year. Time call. Mariners have had to use all 3 leverage arms in this one. Bizarro, Ferrer, and now Munoz in back of Woo, who was fantastic, retiring the final 11 that he faced tonight. Emerson tracking this. Foul ground with plenty of room. Back to the home run. Our K guy out there in right field. Yeah, you earned it, man.
It did. He's been hard at work all night putting up strikeouts, and what a night for him. And then you catch the home run ball.
I'm guessing that somebody's going to contact him pretty quickly if they haven't already. This is foul. Mariners will put in great effort to get that ball back for Colt. And I'm guessing that Mariner fan will be getting some pretty good memorabilia as a result of catching that home run ball. White Sox down to their final out. 0-2, and now their final strike. The ball game. The Mariners win it on a night we'll remember for a long time, and so will he. Colt Emerson's first big league home run, his first hit. The Mariners win it. More importantly, 6-1 the final score.
This just had everything a baseball fan could want. I mean, the Chicago White Sox, they came in here hot, Aaron. You know, if they were in the AL West, they'd be in first place. They scored 22 runs in 3 games against the Cubs. The Mariners limit them to 1 tonight. Brian Wu was absolutely outstanding. Started off a little bit slow, had to throw 25 pitches in that first inning, had a couple of walks, but he gets through 6 innings and ends up punching out 8. And congratulations one more time to Colt Emerson. His first big league hit, a home run that blows this game open. This was fantastic to watch, just entertaining.
Well, 17 members, 17 friends and family of Colt Emerson in the house tonight. And they were not able to make it here yesterday after his abrupt call-up in an afternoon game, but they all made it here tonight, and man, good timing on their part.
We've just continued to see him have good at bat after good at bat, and we talked about it throughout the night. Even though he hadn't gotten a hit, I mean, you could see his process, you could see his approach at the plate, and you knew it was just a matter of time. And then he finally does just break this game open. And again, the 7th pitch of this at bat, and look at this, he's out in front. You know, against this changeup, it was the 5th changeup in that at bat. They thought they could get it by Colt Emerson, and they could not. Congratulations to him.
Tonight's Fire TV winning moment. Colt Emerson alongside Hyphen. Take it away, man.
All right, guys. I am here with Colt Emerson. Your first major league hit, a 3-run bomb here at T-Mobile Park. How good did that feel?
It felt great, and I couldn't be happier. Thanks.
You knew that was coming, right? Surely.
I took off the pitch comm. We're good. This is cold.
Oh, you're smart. You're a veteran. Veteran move. Getting rid of the pitch comm. All right. Talk to us. Now, you made your debut yesterday, but what has this 24 or so hours been like for you? Getting the call late, driving up to T-Mobile, making your debut yesterday, and obviously having that big home run tonight.
Yeah, it's been hectic. Yesterday, I was getting ready to play a Sunday AAA game, heading to Salt Lake. Now I'm here, first career hit. Family's in the stands, girlfriend's in the stands. Happier. This team's great. These guys support me. So awesome.
I had a chance to talk to your dad, Jamie, your mom, Stacy, during the game, and you know, the whole family. You got 17 people. What does it mean for you? They missed your debut, but had the chance to see that first hit, that home run. What does it mean for you to have your family here in attendance tonight?
It means the world to me, and I'm just so happy they can make it out. This isn't easy travel from Ohio, so grateful that they came out, and I know there's people back in the Concord that are cheering me on, and I'm just so grateful for everybody who came out to watch, everybody who's watching right now, everybody supporting me.
Well, we're all excited that you're here. Go grab that try one more time, Colt, and welcome to T-Mobile.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Back to you guys.
All right, Ryan, thank you very much. I think he got out of the way. Colt Emerson, there he is, the second Trident. Got a curtain call, got the Gatorade bath, although it was just water. It was cold, but I tell you what a great night for him. We'll have lots more on Colt Emerson, the home run, and the big win in Game 1 tonight.